how can you ever say you don't at least want to check out a trailer for a film with a cover like that? Honestly. Um, Look at that! I saw this on the shelf before I even heard that Scream Factory was releasing this, because I didn't really look at the Scream Factory website back when this film came out. I usually just saw them at like the stores, the movie stores, Cinema One especially, where I shop at frequently. And I saw this cover, and I'm like, I knew Scream Factory. I just would never keep up to date with their like coming soon releases and stuff like that. But I had to have this shit. Like, that's amazing. That's like Roger Corman feeling shit. It's not Roger Corman, but it's actually directed by Fred Olen Ray. Fred is another one basically similar to Roger Corman that has a history of doing very low budget and very classic horror inspired B movies pretty much. And this is one of his staples. He's actually also known for lending a camera to Quentin Tarantino to do his very first film, My Best Friend's Birthday. I'm pretty sure he did it in college or something. I watched a clip of it on YouTube or something. It's a short and it's black and white, but little cool fun fact. Anyway, Alienator is a lot of fun, and this chick is badass. This is Tegan. Tegan was a bodybuilder in the 80s. And I don't know how many film credits she has, but she definitely fits the role perfectly. She basically looks like a wrestler, but bodybuilder kind of same vein kind of thing. And yeah, she's a female Terminator. That's the first idea that I got from that cover is a female Terminator, the Alienator. So we start this film with the most pointless scroll that you've ever seen. It's going through this, like, in the far reaches of space, there was this huge battle of this rebellion, and on this, they were battling this great tyrant Baal, and this rebellion crew was led by this guy named Cole, and you're thinking this is gonna be like some epic like space battle, like space opera Star Wars, B movie Star Wars, like poor man Star Wars thing going on with this like Star Trek episode story going on with this huge spectacle. No, this is a really freaking grounded movie. It all takes place on Earth, or at least like 90% of it. The story does anyway. The only things that takes place in space is what takes place on the prison planet, where the main character, or the main alien character, whatever, Cole, is it Cole? Or Cole? It's Cole. He goes by Cole. Escapes from. So there is a prison planet. It looks like it's very low budget, so it basically looks like any other room that's designed to look like a cheap space station. If anybody's seen the films Forbidden World or Galaxy of Terror, you'll know what I'm talking about, where they actually use like egg cartons on the walls to make it look like a spaceship or like a space station or whatever. They use like the cheapest effects and set buildings, set designs that you can possibly use. But everything else is on Earth, and the Earth stuff is very like Cabin in the Woods, because most of it takes place in a cabin, and I'll get to that though anyway. So we start with this scroll that is totally pointless, other than like the whole spectacle of it is totally pointless. Like, you get this guy, he was in a rebellion, he was arrested, he was put on a prison planet and put on death row, and he's awaiting his death, basically. So before they take him to be killed, and he manages to escape, and he's fighting off the guards and all this wacky stuff with the like cheesy ass sound effects. He uses these bugs, like these maggots, to throw on this guy's face, and they have this pretty wicked practical effect where the bugs are pretty much like burrowing themselves into the guy's face, and you can see them go into the cheeks because it's a practical effect. So they got like the bugs actually like going to the guy's face, and he's bleeding and he's like screaming. It's it's a really well done effect. But this guy ends up hijacking a ship. The Cole hijacks a ship, and he escapes the planet, and he crash lands on Earth. And this is where they send the Alienator to go capture him, pretty much. So like I said, the story is very simple for such a crazy-ass opening. There's this other guy named Lund, and Lund comes in as kind of like a supervisor, spectator kind of thing just like observing the prison planet. He comes in as like this semi-unwelcome stranger, but they let him in anyway because he has like he claims to just want to like observe kind of thing, but it's not really explained exactly what for, and it's not really it doesn't really make much sense why they would let him in the first place, but they do. And he has this like robe. All the costumes are so cheap. Even Cole, who's supposed to be this alien, pretty much like he's not from Earth, but he looks like a human. All he has is like a puffy, like gray vest, like kind of like life jacket looking, and like a bandana. The most alien thing he has is a neck collar, a metal neck collar, that they gave him in prison, in the prison planet. But other than that, he just looks like a regular human, and even the guys on Earth are like, this guy's just a whack job. He probably escaped from a loony bin or something. So we got this guy named Rick. He's driving an RV. He's driving with his friends Benny, Carolyn, and Ori. And they're driving to a cabin. Rick is, drinking, obviously, while driving an RV, because that's a smart thing to do. And they almost hit Call when like lying in the middle of the road, and they basically take him to the cabin that they were gonna stay at, and start asking him a bunch of questions. And he starts saying that he's from wherever the hell in space, and talking about the whole rebellion thing that he was involved in. We're also introduced to these two characters named Harvey and Bert. And Harvey and Bert, basically I just call them Dumb and Dumber. They're hillbilly idiots pretty much. They're like the laughing stock of the movie, but they're really side characters. They come in to the cabin and they kind of add to the story, but really they're kind of hunting animals for food, but illegally, because they're not allowed to hunt where they are, and the sheriff is always trying to like stop them and give them tickets and do whatever he can to like stop them from doing hunting animals when they're not supposed to, but they keep doing it anyway. But they're just complete redneck characters. They talk stupid, they say stupid shit. They're those guys. They're just there to kind of add to the story and waste a little bit of time. And Cole's neck bracelet, it stops him from being able to like breathe. On Earth, he can barely breathe anyway, but the neck bracelet doesn't help. And like the sounds he makes, the gasps, he's like, it's just on and on and on. He talks so slow, and it's like, oh my god, I get the point, but like you're overkilling it. But it just goes for it like continues with the whole B movie stuff. The B movie score is amazing. Just the way they did the score, you have to listen to it to know what I'm talking about. But it's cool. If you've seen the film, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They invite or the sheriff brings in a doctor to check out this Cole guy to see what he's up to. And as soon as the doctor rolls in his car and gets out of his car, he's immediately blasted by the alien in the Terminator, the Alienator. And the effect, it's just a green light, green fluorescent, like him going, and then like what you would see in like Power Rangers, like just green light. And then they cut away, and they cut back, and you see him on fire. Now, I think the fire was actually real. I think it was a stuntman in a suit, like actually lit on fire, because the fire did look real compared to everything else in the film. The fire looked really real, and then his body falls, and you see like a completely charred skeleton on the ground, and that was also a practical effect. So that was nice to see. You got the head like kind of bobbing, and it looks like it's like completely burnt to a crisp. It's smoking. That looked really cool. But I just find it funny that the doctor was literally given nothing to do but be like disintegrated pretty much. And it was funny. One of the chicks asks, I think it was Carolyn, that asks Cole, "So Cole, do you know E.T.?" And there's good one-liners in here. And some of the line delivery is just amazing. Like, it's just the acting, like, damn, oh my goodness, oh no, like shit like that. It's a treat. Like, this is the film you watch to joke around with. This is a film you watch to not take seriously and to just have a good time with and laugh at, pretty much. I do like how when the Alienator is able to kind of detect threats, similar to the way the Terminator was. And there's a scene where she's about to shoot a deer, but then she scans it with her scanner eyes, whatever, and she notices that it's not a threat. So the deer comes up to her and starts petting it, and shows her kind of like compassionate human side. Basically, she's programmed to be on a mission, just like the Terminator was, and it's a poor man's female Terminator. So you're pretty much gonna get the same kind of what do you call it, beats as this film goes on, and you know, if you've watched a Roger Corman film, this is not a Roger Corman film, but it very much feels like one. And what else goes on in this film? I do love the cabin in the woods feel. Like, it feels like your Evil Dead kind of cabin in the woods, or cabin in the woods. And like with the fog, and like you get like a good like forest area kind of thing. And yeah, they have this whole kind of standoff trying to hold off the Alienator, because the Alienator is only after Cole, obviously, but everybody else is trying to defend themselves from her, because another lieutenant or sheriff comes into the picture as well, and him and the sheriff are shooting down. One of them is all gun hungry. He has like an AK-47. He's ready to take this chick down. Actually, Cole, sorry, comes up with an idea where they can use like a mesh net to kind of throw on top of the Alienator if it's like has like some kind of current going through it, because then it can shut down her her functions, her motor functions kind of thing, her robotic functions, whatever. And they try that, and they do succeed in getting the net over her. And then again, funniest, cheapest effect ever, like something you do on like, I don't know, Power, like just any computer program that you have at home, you could probably make an effect like that. It's just so I've seen commercials with bigger budgets, like just like car commercials and shit like that. Like it's just it's it needs to be seen to be believed, pretty much. But it's so funny. I love the ending too. You got Cole, who he's not he's an evil, he's a rogue character. He's in it for himself. Like, he doesn't he'll like, if he has to kill somebody, he will. And he gets the opportunity, now that he's on Earth, that he wants to like be on his own. So he gets the opportunity to kind of possess Rick, you could say. So he does possess Rick, and Rick comes in as Cole, but in Rick's body, and he starts to attack everybody as Rick. And that goes on for a bit, and then the Alienator ends up beheading Cole as Rick, and then his head falls on the floor, and it turns back to Cole's head. I'm telling you, this is my favorite part, is when Cole's head is on the floor, on the ground. You can tell it's like he's buried in something, and it's just like the ground is up here, so he's like, it's supposed to look like he's a severed head, but he looks up, and then he like barfs up this like white toothpaste looking shit. It's just like white coming out of his mouth. It looks like fucking like after you just brushed your teeth or something else. You know. But like, it's just like, and he just spits it all out, and it's just so fucking, it's not even gross, it's just hilarious. And the sound he makes, I think that's literally my favorite like climax, no pun intended, of the end of the film. And then it ends right there. Like, it's like Tegan, the Alienator, that's what they call her, the Alienator, just you know, tells the headquarters up in space that she got her mission complete, and then she just leaves, and that's the end of that. Yeah, I pretty much went through like the hilarity of the film. There's not much to the story. I don't know why they make such a big spectacle about it. The guy that I talked about, Lund, that comes in at the beginning of the film, that was kind of like observing the space station. You get the big twist that Cole was actually his son, and he was like secretly infiltrating in there. So when he found out that his son had been beheaded and died. He starts attacking everybody in the station, and then you got this space battle with like lightsabers, and that's where you got your poor man's Star Wars happening. And yeah, it's B movie glory. It's I haven't seen any Fred Olen Ray films, but this one makes me want to check more out. And I had a lot of fun with Alienator, and if you can find it somewhere, it is streaming on Tubi. I noticed today, because I didn't have the Blu-ray with me when I was watching it, so I found it on Tubi and watched it there, and then came here and made the review. So, but that's really all I got on it. There's not much to say about a film like this. I basically covered the gist of it, and if you've seen it, I mean, I'm sure you love it. Like you have to be a certain kind of fan to enjoy a film like this. Even not to take it seriously, it's still really, really micro budget, but it's fun. Like it's cheap sci-fi, and you can't ask for much more than that from a film that either was released in 1989 or 1990. Some sources say 1990. Back of this says 89. So who knows? Subscribe to Morgan Film Fan if you'd like to listen to my voice, or if you like my film reviews. I'll be back with more soon, so stay tuned if you're interested. Until next review, take care and cheers.